This is why it's really hard to introduce myself because I keep going, okay, what's true? What's relevant? Who are you? What are you here for? What do you need to know about me? What is this all about? What is this life thing? And this like channel has been up for a long time now. And if you cruise back and along and through, you'll see that I've changed a lot. I look different. Sometimes I speak different. I have different energy. It's like, whoa, who is this woman? I thought she was this, and now she's this. And this seems to be a hallmark of the awakening process for me, is that I'm just constantly burning through shit. And as I burn through shit, the way that I show up shifts and changes. And I've just come out of a Budokan yoga certification training, a 1 week immersion into all the things, and more stuff's burned through. I feel clearer than ever, of course, and no doubt in a month something else will happen and I'll feel clearer again. This seems to be the process. It's just like, as Jed McKenna says, further, 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 right? There's no arrival point here. And yet, that which I am, awakeness, you could say, there's a recognition of like, oh, awakeness, it's always been there. Even when I wasn't in touch with it, it was there. And I can see it's like, oh my goodness. So, yeah, I'm on this path of awakening and liberation. Have been my whole life, really. And there's been a few big landmark things where really big things happened, and I'm beginning to feel like they're not even that relevant, but I kind of name them because other people can relate to them. One that I keep missing out and forgetting to share is I had a spinal fusion when I was 15. And that was kind of a big deal because I then had more sciatic pain come in when I was 21, began living with chronic pain. Didn't really clock it as such, though. It was just kind of how my life was. When I was 25, I discovered yoga because I was at that point in time in severe daily chronic pain. My right foot was half numb. I was walking with a limp, like every day pain. Found yoga, yay, yoga. And that pretty much healed my spine. Did lead to Kundalini awakening events. Hello, let's go. A little stint in the psych ward twice because, got to see what it's like in there. And yeah, my back flares up every now and then. So I'm very familiar with the journey of chronic pain. I'm also very familiar with the journey of recovery and integration of Kundalini awakening. I've experienced psychosis twice, as I said. I've experienced depression, anxiety, panic attacks. What else? Oh, PTSD from stuff that happened in childhood that I don't go into publicly so much because, anyway. And I just have this infinite curiosity about what it means to be a human being. My path has often been orientated towards joy and bliss, even as I have had to go in and be in the underworld and confront and digest like really gnarly karma and trauma stuff. And so now my life is pretty much made up of practicing yoga, reading about yoga, sharing about yoga, teaching yoga, mentoring, actually mentor coach on life, like life. And so I mentor coach all kind of people that have gone through Kundalini awakenings, people that are transitioning. Like something I'm doing right now is I've got two clients, both of whom have just come out of 30-year marriages. I'm about to take on a client who's moving countries. So I do a lot of work with people in transitions. And I also do work with people who are, of course, experiencing chronic pain, right? Because we may not be able to shift the pain that you're experiencing, but we can relieve the suffering. And I'm really good at that. So I live in Canada. I am New Zealand born and bred, but my mum's Canadian. So I have two passports, which is very, very handy. I've been at this online game since 2006. I've written 3 books. I have a couple of podcasts. Like there's all these things. It doesn't really seem that relevant or important in some ways. My focus at the moment, moment by moment, surrendering to the inherent joy that is unfolding, regardless of whether I like the conditions or the circumstances I find myself in, and just that, just yeah. So anyway, that's where I'm at. Drop a comment. How'd you find me? What are you here for? What do you need? Check out my links, like I have all these offerings, righty rah, bloody blah. You'll feel the call. If you're like, who is this woman? I want to know more about her. Trust that call. get pulled in. Maybe there's something here for you. Maybe you're ready for the next joy-filled stage of your path, recognizing that we can only experience the joy to the degree at which we have dove into the depths, right? In the same way that love and grief are the same thing. To love is to grieve is to love, right? To feel the horror fully of life is to feel the joy fully of life. All right, that's me over and out. Big love. Yeah.